Hey everyone, welcome to another Lumentek Electrical video. Today we're delving into the topic every Alberta homeowner should be familiar with: whole home surge protection. With frequent storms, power fluctuations, and increasingly smart but sensitive appliances, protecting your entire electrical system is essential. We're joined by Ryan, and today he's a licensed electrician, owner of Lumentek Electrical in Red Deer. Ryan will explain why a whole home surge protector is far more effective than outlet strips, how it safeguards your home, and whether it's worth the investment. Ready to power up your knowledge? Let's get started. All right, Ryan, question number one. What exactly is a whole home surge protector, and how does it differ from those typical surge bars that people plug into the wall?
Well, the surge bar only protects the circuit that's directly plugged into it. So if you have your outlet, plug your surge bar in, plug your computer in, it protects that. With the surge bars, there's not a lot of regulation for them. So they're like, some of them will have their surge, well, they all should have their surge rating on the back of them. But if you look at that rating, it's ridiculous. Like your plugs that shoot out of the wall before, like that would actually do anything to stop a surge. The whole home surge protectors are generally made by the manufacturer of the panel. So they're held to higher standards. They're all CSA approved. They're a lot higher quality, and it will protect everything in the home. So things like your oven that use a special plug because it's 240 volts, that will also get protected. Whereas you can't buy a power bar for your oven or for your dryer or anything like that that still has expensive electronics in there that are sensitive to power surges.
Yeah, washer, dryer, ovens, all of these appliances have microprocessors in them.
Yeah.
Okay, question two. Why are whole home surge protectors increasingly important for Alberta homeowners?
We have crazy weather here. Anyone that's been in Alberta for a while knows that. Yeah, anytime there's a storm, anything like that, the likelihood of a surge goes way up. It all takes is one bad surge to cost thousands of dollars.
Yeah. So didn't that happen to you?
It did.
All right. Tell us a story.
So we had Easter weekend, we had family with us, and we lost our washing machine. So I went downstairs to see what was going on with that. That wasn't working, and then came upstairs, found out the dishwasher wasn't working, and then found out the oven wasn't working. So,
And what was the cause of that?
I think it was just over the years, just small surges, and kind of eventually wore everything out.
And they just did
stopped working.
Yeah. Or maybe it was something that came in over the grid. Who knows, right?
It could have been, yeah.
Yeah. So these things happen, folks. And he lost how many thousands of dollars of appliances?
I think everything was like $5,000 after to replace it all. And
Yay.
a surge protector, like the best ones you can buy are, I don't know, $1,200.
So $1,200 could have saved thousands of dollars, right? Hey, Ryan, can you explain how smaller inside the home surges cause long-term damage to electronics and wiring?
Yeah. So every time there's a power surge, it will start wearing out the electronics. It might not be big enough to cause like a huge, like catastrophic failure right away, but it will eventually over time. Yeah. It's like your windshield. If you get chips on it, you don't get it fixed, then eventually it's going to start cracking and get worse, and then you have to replace it.
So would these surges be like when the, let's say a big load turns on and it dims the lights for a little bit, like that, those kinds of loads, like from your dryer or your HVAC or your AC turning on and off?
Yeah, like that shouldn't be enough to cause any damage to your electronics unless there's a problem and it's getting like a huge voltage drop. But like we used to have a customer in when I lived in Vancouver, and they had they were on the same grid as a concrete plant.
Okay.
So they'd start mixing the concrete, and the voltage would drop like 20 volts, and then everything, like all the lights would dim and flicker and everything. And then when they'd shut the pumps off, all the voltage would spike because the utility company would see the voltage drop, try to account for it, and then they'd shut stuff off, and before they could drop the voltage back down, it would shoot up to who knows what, and then come back down to 120. And they were constantly fixing computers, and even the surge protectors, like we'd have to go in there like every few weeks and replace them all because they'd all blow. So
wow, that's crazy. No, let's talk about the next question here. What safety and cost saving benefits do whole home surge protectors offer compared to replacing damaged appliances and electrical systems?
It's It's just with the cost of everything now, it's like your TV is probably more than a surge protector costs.
Right.
So would you rather replace a surge protector or a TV?
Yeah.
And if your TV goes, it's likely it's going to take out your oven, fridge, furnace, everything else at the same time.
Right. So you're talking, it could be tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
That could be protected by a surge protector that's as little as a few $100.
Yeah.
Right. And they're sacrificial. So if it goes, it dies completely. You just replace the whole thing. Right.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So it's kind of a good insurance policy to have.
And some of the manufacturers do have insurance for it. So if you have the surge protector and you get a power surge and all of your electronics go, they cover up to a certain amount that they'll reimburse you for.
Well,
so
that's good.
Yeah. We think it's worth it.
Yeah, no kidding, right? Well, you probably have one in your panel now, don't you?
We do.
Yeah, that's what I thought. How does a surge protector installed at the panel reduce risk of electrical fires and wiring damage?
Well, by power surges, you're basically destroying all the components on the circuit board. So there's where they have it kind of controlled where the power is going, how much power is going where. When you have a power surge, it kind of, everything just kind of does what it's going to do. Whatever's the path of least resistance is going to get hot, and it could blow stuff up and catch things on fire. It just really depends on the situation.
Right. Okay. So it happens, but it's not like, it's like getting struck by lightning.
Yeah.
Right. But still, it could possibly happen, could potentially happen.
Yeah.
So what's involved in installing a whole home surge protector, and why is it important to have a licensed electrician install that for you?
It really depends on that specific situation. So some panels, if there's room in there and the manufacturer makes a plug-in surge protector, it probably takes about 15 minutes. It just pops in, stick the neutral on the neutral bar, put the cover back on, and that's about it. And then there's bigger ones that are more involved to install, where they will mount next to the panel. They need to get wired in and get their own circuit and everything. Mm-hmm. Those take a little longer, but they do offer better surge protection. Those are kind of the higher end ones. And there's there's everything in between. You could just go with a plug-in wall surge protector if you only have one electronic device in your house.
Right. But that's unlikely now today.
Yeah.
Right.
And things you don't even think about are like even your thermostat, that's a few $100, and that's
Right.
all electronics.
Yeah. Everything is electronic, and everything's being more connected to the internet and all of that. So
yeah,
a lot of issues that can come up, even though things are supposed to be more convenient and, be able to control it from your phone or your device. It's a lot of money to replace those things, right?
Yeah, it's not even just replacing it. If you get a power surge during a storm and your furnace stops working, you're gonna be pretty cold.
You're in trouble. Hopefully you have some fireplace or something you can get going. Okay, so how long does a whole home surge protector last?
They are designed to be replaced if they get hit with a power surge. Mm-hmm. So very like normal power surges that you get just from utility not being perfect, which is kind of normal, that won't ruin it. But if you get a big power surge, it's like a fuse. Once it blows, you have to replace it.
Okay.
So a lot of the ones that we've installed, they'll just be a green light, and then you just kind of periodically check it. And if it turns red, then take it out and put a new one in. Gotcha.
Now, should homeowners still use plug-in surge protectors even after installing a whole home system?
It can't hurt. If your whole home surge protector ever failed, like it is a manufactured thing, it can fail, then you have another source of protection for for your electronics. Right. But
so doesn't hurt to have one.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what practical steps can homeowners take to minimize surge risks, if any, not just installing protection, but also during storms or power outages?
If you have a home surge protector, you should be pretty safe. But if you're worried for whatever reason, if you think there's going to be an outage, you can unplug stuff or turn breakers off for things that you're not going to be using anyways. Mm-hmm. And that is definitely the safest way you could possibly go if you're really worried about something.
Right. Open up the connection.
Yeah, if it's not connected, it can't get hit with a surge.
All right. Thanks so much for joining us today. Thanks, Ryan, for sharing your information on surge protectors. Hey, everyone, you should be protected from surges, whether just in the grid or during storms. Get a whole home surge protector. Call Ryan with Lumentek Electrical. He'd be happy to come out and install one for you. We'll see you on the next video. Thanks.